Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrassle Graps. My name is Chris,
My name is Vincent.
and this was your idea.
It was not my. What do you mean? I feel like we should have done this anyway. So I mean, not
You
really.
said, you said, and I quote, "Do you want to watch Saturday Night's Main Event, and do you want to watch Double or Nothing?"
Yeah, they're both this weekend, man. Of course, we're gonna watch both.
Could have skipped this one.
I mean, look, we could have, but we didn't. So it is what it is.
Did not need to see. I could have told you everything that happened on the show.
It's a special show, man. John Cena made it special.
It's so special that nothing of note happened on the show, and I can't get that 2 hours back.
Of course, things happen on the show. You just didn't clock it in or clock it. You didn't clock it.
Well, anyway, we just finished it. We're gonna talk about it now. Start off with Rhea Flair and Bliss versus Jade, Michin, and B-Fab. Six-woman tag match. A lot better than I expected it to be.
It was better than I expected, but still average at best.
I mean, look, it was a six-woman tag match to build up some heat for Clash in Italy for Rhea and Jade. But the in-ring action was pretty good. The only thing I didn't like was the ending. Other than that, it was fine.
The highlight of the match was Wade Barrett saying that Alexa Bliss is the glue to the match, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, you heard that and you said, man, he said that from me.
The glue? That's me, man. I'm the glue guy.
I was over here, I was finishing up editing, not editing, I was finishing up the upload for the predictions for Devil or Nothing, and I audibly hear him just go, the glue.
Yeah, everyone's using the glue nowadays. I feel like I'm the guy that's using it the best.
I do blame you for it starting. That is accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, this match ends with Rhea and Charlotte going, "Oh, do we trust each other?" Yeah, we do. They shake hands. They're all hugging, and then Bliss gets in there also. They're hugging, but they're doing this in the middle of a match for some reason. So Jade comes in and breaks it up, and then ends up pinning Rhea Ripley.
It was pretty stupid, really.
It was pretty stupid. Not as stupid as what comes next, but we'll get to that.
Oh man, somehow it got worse. Somehow.
That there, just so you guys know, there's a ton of promos on this show. We're not really going to cover them simply because of the fact that it's literally just different variations of everyone saying that they were going to win the match that they had tonight.
It's pretty uneventful, really.
We're just going to cover the matches here. We're going to move on to
Wait, so you
all
said Jade won, right?
Jade won. She gets the pin off Rhea.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to all 5 minutes of Sol Ruka versus Becky Lynch.
I used to go when I thought the main event was gonna be. Turns out it was this match. That was the short match on the show.
This match, man, I said the only match I'm looking forward to on this show was Penta and Ethan Page. But then I saw this match and I said, man, at least there's this. At least this will be good. And it was like 4 minutes of offense from Sol Ruka, followed by her going for a Soul Snatcher and Becky Lynch shoving the ref in the way to cause the ref to call for a DQ.
Which is very inconsistent with past ref bumps that they usually
That's
do on every show.
incredibly inconsistent.
So it was dumb. I mean, there's no way around that.
They put this match on the show so they can do this finish and then say, well, we're going to do it again next week at Clash in Italy.
Well, they're doing the match again. They're not doing the finish again.
Yep. Well, regardless, if that was the plan all along, why even bother?
To set up the match, man.
You could have put anything else on the show. If you're just gonna do this, then don't bother.
Well, what would you have replaced it with?
Anything else. This was a waste of time.
Well, then, which one? Which match?
You know I don't watch the product enough to know that, but
Yeah, me too.
I could have found something else.
Yeah, I could have figured it out. Just throw Ilya Dragunov on there, Carmelo Hayes.
If you're gonna do anything with this show, why not just make it something interesting, Why don't you put like people you don't normally see wrestling for some reason?
Yeah. I'm gonna put John Cena on the show. Have him face, I don't know, Gunther. Put them in a match.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but
Well, why wouldn't you do that?
well, one of them's retired. You know,
Well, you said they're not wrestling for some reason, so I figured, let's just throw John Cena out there.
I meant like reasons that weren't obvious.
Oh, okay. Well, you should have said that then.
I thought it was given,
Well, no, it was not. Now I'm
but anyway,
confused.
I listen. This was 4 minutes long. This was a waste of time. There was no
I mean,
reason for it to
Becky
be.
came back in and started attacking her again. Hit her with the Beck slams or whatever she calls it.
This should have been done on Raw.
And this was raw shit. That's what it was.
That's also true. Hey, I'll give you that one.
Raw shit.
But now let's move on to what I would say is the saving grace of this entire show, and that is Penta and Ethan Page.
I thought this was gonna be the main event. I did. And it was a
Should
good
have.
match. It's gonna be forgotten about, but it was a good match.
It's the best thing on this show by a country mile.
What does that mean? I don't know, but it was a good match for sure. Best thing on the show, like you said. I do agree.
It means that there was nothing on this show that even came close to touching this quality wise.
Who came up with the country mile part of it?
It's just the same, and you never heard that.
I did hear about it, but I never thought about it like that.
It means that, it's so far away quality wise from everything else that there's so much distance in between.
Yeah, I understand what it means. I do.
Just checking. I'm just checking.
I'm like the best at English. You don't know.
Yeah, well, bilingual.
By the way, that has nothing to do with being the best at English, but yeah, yeah.
No, but
I
it
do
just means you're
know.
very good at languages.
I do understand a few languages. That's true.
Better at languages than I am. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, look, if you know even one more than English, then you're better than I am.
That is true. That's true. That's true. Probably better than most people.
But anyway, I feel bad for this match because I think that most people may have been distracted by what they did to Ethan Page before the match. You were very
Oh,
upset about
okay,
it
okay, hold on. Yeah, they changed this man's theme song. And for why?
because this is Def Rebel, and they sat there and said, "Man, this shit just doesn't suck enough."
What the heck? Only Def Rebel would do that, by the way.
That is the most Def Rebel thing to do. It really is.
Yeah, they listen to their own song and say, this is just not garbage enough. We need to really change this up a little bit.
Only Def Rebel could sit there and go, "Man, is this actually good? We can't have that."
It literally was a perfect theme song for him. Because, at first I never really liked it, but then it grew on me. I said, this is a really good theme song for him. Um, and then the theme song hits, and I'm like, what is this? This sounds a little different. And it did for the worse. But some people are saying for the better. I don't think so.
I can't comment on it because I didn't really hear it all that well. I'm gonna take your word for it for now. I'm gonna say it probably was terrible because it's a Def Rebel project.
It was just garbage, man. Pure garbage.
But luckily, the match was not garbage. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Some
like
great
I
back.
said, it was hard, or like you said, it was hard to focus on the match when you're thinking about the whole theme song situation.
It took him a good 10 minutes to get past it.
Yeah, at least 10 minutes.
But after you get into it, some great back and forth there, and Penta ends up retaining. I was surprised by.
Uh, yeah, actually, I am surprised by that because I really thought Ethan Page had this one in the bag.
I don't mind Penta winning. I just didn't think it would happen.
I do feel like the winners were a little too predictable.
I don't know why. This is really my fault. I go into these Saturday night's main events like I don't know how it works by now, and really that's my fault.
Right, right.
I should have known. Then nothing of note would happen tonight.
Yeah, we should know that these shows, I mean, they're cool, but they're not too special.
I think they tried doing it all night. They tried to do the nostalgia hit, but the nostalgia hit will only take you so far, man. You got to actually do things on these shows so people care.
Don't you remember when Shawn Michaels was the Intercontinental Champion?
Yeah, and I'm sure you're seeing better matches than whatever happened on this show.
Uh, I mean, look, I mean, we just talked about a good match. What do you mean?
Okay, well, I'm sure he's doing better matches than like most of what happened here.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Like I'm sure that they were more interesting than Paige and Brie versus Lash Legend and Nia Jax.
Um, yeah, this match. Not. I wasn't a big fan of this match.
You know, I wouldn't say it was terrible. It was bad. I would just say it happened, and there's nothing really to talk about.
When you look at the participants involved, I'm sure you can figure out that it's not going to be a barn burner.
This whole card kind of reeks of they forgot that they had this coming up on their schedule, and they hastily threw a bunch of random stuff on here, and they said good enough.
This is kind of what it felt like, or at least they didn't want to prepare a lot for this show, and they just kind of threw things onto it and say that's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, nothing of note really in that match. Brie helps Paige cheat to win,
I don't
which is
think
weird because
Paige
the
knows though.
face.
Paige doesn't know.
No, she knew.
No, she doesn't know. What do you mean?
I would imagine if I was in a tag team, right, and I'm pinning somebody, and while I'm pinning them, my tag team partner firmly presses their boot against my ass so that, I get more leverage. I'd like to believe I'd notice.
She doesn't know, man. She has no idea.
I think that's not possible.
How do you know that though?
Because I would imagine, because if someone's pushing on your ass, I would imagine you would know.
I don't think Sometimes you just don't know until it's too late.
I think it's impossible to not know, especially for a prolonged period of time.
I don't know. We have to test that out. But I mean, as far as right now,
That's
Bree and Paige have retained.
that's the 100K special. We're gonna test it.
Yeah, yeah. Science experiment.
Wrassle Graps is science. That's gonna be it. It's gonna be. Do you feel it?
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what we're gonna ask. It's like a good mythical morning segment.
We're gonna ask that. And it's gonna be titled just like the Austin Theory T-shirt. It's gonna say, "You're gonna see it. You're gonna feel it."
Just like that. The pressure. You're gonna feel it.
I think that's what he was referring to on that T-shirt too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Speaking of main event time, Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Street Profits. A
But
lot of
the
impressive.
Vision had a cool, like, not a cool, but they had a more interesting backstage segment.
It, it was all right. There was nothing too interesting to write home about with those. I mean, it's nice that they did them. I like that they got the thoughts of the people backstage, but they all kind of sounded the same.
I mean, they said like the Street Profits are going to be denied, and the championships are the smoke, but we're going to retain the championship.
And I said, okay, neat.
Like I could have predicted that promo because I did in my head. I was like, they're going to say that either they're the smoke or the championships are the smoke.
Either way, it's going to be smoke somewhere.
Yeah.
But this match happens, and unfortunately, they were correct. They end up beating the Street Profits. Match
Yeah.
was not bad.
It was a good look for what it was. It was a good match, I think.
I really don't know why they didn't just give the win to the Street Profits.
I would have. That's what would have been like. Okay, good match, good ending. But instead, it was like a good match, flattening ending.
The highlight of the match was Braun Breaker attempting to help and missing Montez Ford and getting slammed on the table by Angelo Dawkins.
I don't think it's ever happened to Bro before.
But that was funny. Bro tried to help and did not.
That was fucking hilarious.
That was my highlight.
Bro
And
was
a
like a
few.
meme. Every since the word, he's always doing memeable stuff.
Actually, that's not fair. He was a highlight, but I would say the highlight's probably that dive over the ring post from Montez Ford.
That was crazy because I just didn't think he was going to do it. I mean, I've seen Leon Slater do that a few times. I don't know about Montez Ford.
I always forget how good that dude is, but he's very good.
He's got that height tool, like where he dives into the sky and you just feel like he's like flying. You know what I mean?
He's fantastic. He really is.
Every move he does is clean as fuck, right? I was thinking like this guy should be the world champion right now. I feel like a lot of people see that, by the way, but I always see that.
And not to put him down, I thought Angelo Dawkins was also moving pretty good out there.
I mean, Angelo's a slept-on wrestler. Yeah, I mean, Angelo is always good in the ring. He's like really, like I say, he's slept on. A lot of people don't give him enough credit.
The things he does are cleaner than what they used to be.
I feel like he's always been good.
I feel like it was a bit improved. I don't know. Maybe just because it's been a while since I've seen a match from them.
I think
I thought
that's
it
what
was.
it is. Yeah, it's like a fresh. It's refreshing your brain.
It was kind of like that.
Yeah,
But anyway, the Street Profits lose, and then Braun Breaker spears both guys at the
he starts
end,
freaking out.
and that's the end of the show.
Yeah, look, overall average show, average, as they say at Wrestle Talk. But we do
That's
something
very
different,
true.
so it's a thumbs in the middle.
This is a textbook definition of if you saw it, cool. If you didn't, you missed absolutely nothing. If you're gonna go and you're gonna watch anything, check out the Penta and Ethan Page match. Besides that, this was pretty much a waste of time. I'm gonna
If you
give it a
don't want,
thumbs up.
if you don't feel like watching the show, listen to this review, and that's it. I mean, that's all you have to do.
I mean, look, do you wanna watch the 2 hours of nothing happening? Or do you want to just listen to two guys sum it up in less than 20 minutes? And that's what we can do
Yeah,
for you here.
exactly. What was your rating again?
It's a thumbs in the middle. Besides the Penta and Ethan Page match, it's really nothing interesting.
Okay, glad we're in agreement on that.
Yeah, well, that with that said, I'll do it for this one right here. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcasting platform, 5-star reviews greatly appreciated.
I know, like, there's a bunch of podcasting platforms we don't even know about, and we're on them. And
That's the fun part.
people listen to us on those platforms.
We apparently, you can AI us, and apparently we do show up, even though it's incorrect.
But yeah, Complex Scraps is not us. Okay, it's
I don't
not
even know who
us.
those guys are.
I don't know them, and you should not listen to them. You should listen to us instead.
Yeah, I don't like don't get on my territory like that.
Yeah,
I can't believe, Google AI out there trying to sell us. Like
it's
we already
Instagram. I don't know what Instagram
oh,
AI is
Instagram
called, but
AI.
that's what it was. Yeah,
Well, whatever, they're helping out the wrong guys. I need it.
yeah, we need that people to know who we are. And
Yeah,
not
I'm
confuse
sure.
us for other people.
I'm sure those guys, whoever they are doing better. They don't need that help. We do.
They have guests or something. We don't have guests. We do this on our own.
The only guess we have is Craig, and that's just because he has to be here. He records the whole thing.
Exactly.
But whatever. Go follow us on social media so that the AI bots will know that this is the right place to talk about it.
Yes, please do that.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.